Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're here to talk about a fascinating topic, a real page turner here with irrevocable life insurance trusts. My name is Peter Locke. I'm a managing partner and certified financial planner at NearSight here in Colorado. With me today, I have Clinton Carlisle, who is an attorney and partner at Schaefer Thomas Mays in Broomfield, Colorado. So Clinton, thanks for joining us. I guess to start off, what is an ILIT, and maybe who would be using them and why?
So an ILIT, or an irrevocable life insurance trust, is an irrevocable trust set up by you for the purpose of holding life insurance. So typically, life insurance would be either a term policy or a long-term policy, whole life, that would be inside this trust, and the purpose would be to have it outside of your taxable estate. So right now, you can have $11.7 million of property inside your taxable estate and not incur estate tax. That's likely going to go down, possibly this coming year in 2022, possibly later to about $6 million. So you could have $6 million in your taxable estate. If you could be over that or are close to that, an ILIT is a good technique to be able to have the death benefit from the insurance proceeds be outside of your taxable estate and not be counted in that $6 million or $11 million figure. An ILIT has two main purposes. One is if a lot of your wealth is in a small business and you don't have a lot of liquidity to pay estate taxes, an ILIT can provide liquidity after your death to pay estate taxes or other expenses of administration. Second, an ILIT is often a very simple way to increase the benefit to your kids or other beneficiaries just by having these funds set up in this trust structure that will be for their benefit and not subject to estate tax. So the pros and cons of an ILIT, there's not very many cons. This is a pretty simple technique, and if estate tax laws change in the future, you can unwind these pretty easily. The pros are it's a simple technique, so you can set these up relatively quickly. There's not a lot of maintenance. It should not change anything for income tax purposes or a very nominal amount. And you can set it up at the same time you're applying for a life insurance policy. And the beneficiary typically is your descendants, though it can be your spouse as well. Depends on the goal of the policy, whether it is to benefit your spouse and children so that they have the access to the resources, or if it is just to provide liquidity for your estate at estate taxes, you might just name your kids so that they have the ability to pay estate taxes. And then as far as policies go, you can utilize this technique with an existing policy if you'd like. There is a downside to that. Although ILITs typically are outside of your taxable estate, if you transfer an existing policy into one, it's still part of your taxable estate for 3 years. Whereas if you start a new policy and make the trust the owner and beneficiary at purchase of the policy, then it's outside of your estate immediately. So if you were to die within 3 years of obtaining the policy, it's already outside of your estate. So you can do either, but it's a little bit better to do this while you're applying for life insurance and before you actually have the policy written.
Awesome. That was really helpful. So an irrevocable life insurance trust, just to kind of recap that, would be great for someone that has a high or large net worth or has the potential to have a large net worth in the future. They have maybe in a liquid business, or maybe just in a property that has an extremely high value that at the time of death would be very difficult to maybe sell. So maybe just more a liquid business or asset. And then they're great for increasing the benefit to the children. So if you were to have an estate above the $11 million mark, let's say you are worth $15 million or $20 million. Talk to me about, why would I have a trust to help pay for the estate tax? Is the estate tax high right now? Is it higher than normal tax rates?
Yeah, so estate taxes are typically 40% for federal. So if your estate is worth 15 million, you subtract whatever the credit is at your death. So if it's 11.7 million, you'd have about 3 million, a little more than 3 million to be taxable. So 40% of 3 million you'd pay an estate tax. If instead you have an ILIT that has a $2 million death benefit, you could use that $2 million death benefit to pay the estate tax, or you also are reducing your taxable estate of 15 million by paying premiums to buy the life insurance. So you're providing liquidity that doesn't make estate tax worse, and you're also reducing your taxable estate by paying premiums on life insurance while still making sure that your beneficiaries receive the death benefit.
That's great. So if I just had a regular life insurance policy and had paid out a big death benefit, although it's tax free to my kids or anyone I decide as a beneficiary, that's going to be part of my estate tax as a whole. And so if I exceed that, let's say it's $6 million mark next year, and I pass away, that's going to be taxed. If my net worth is above $6 million, that's going to be taxed at the highest tax, the trust amounts of up to 40%. So an ILIT would be a great alternative for those, or a great option for those individuals looking to reduce the estate tax, help pay for the estate tax, and or just continually pay a great benefit to the children.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it not only reduces your taxable estate, but also ensures your kids get a good benefit, and is an easy tool to do that. That's right.
That's great. So I know there's obviously some nuances, but for those individuals that are interested or want to understand a little bit more about ILITs, we have a lot of expertise and experience in this field, but you do need an attorney to draw up the actual trust and to make sure that you are doing everything that you need to make sure that the benefit pays out the way it's supposed to. There are things that you can do in these policies when you pay the premium that will actually make it disqualified and won't have all the benefits that you intend to have. So make sure you talk to a qualified attorney, whether it's your own or Clinton, to help you draw up these types of trusts.